Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wyld. Today, we are talking about if you cannot tip, just walk to the restaurant. UberEats and Doordash driver calls out companies for clustering tip orders with non-tip orders in his batch deliveries. So as we all know, if you've ever been in the gig economy for any extended period of time, you have seen a host and leech order. A stacked order where one customer tipped really well and the other is trash. And it's probably one of the only ways that Doordash can actually get somebody to deliver food, and Uber Eats, well, same gist. So with that said, I want to go over everything that's being said in this article, how it actually is for Doordash, Uber Eats, and Grubhub drivers and their corresponding customers, and everything in between. So with that said, let's get started. A food delivery driver called out Uber Eats and Doordash for forcing drivers to take non-tip orders. Okay, so let's be clear about one thing before we continue, because I don't want there to be any misunderstandings. No one's really forcing you to do anything. If you don't want to take them, don't take them. Are you going to be missing out on good orders because you have a stacked order and you see a stacked order, you know one person's a good tipper and the other person's trash? Maybe. Are you going to get good orders regardless? Sure. If you don't take those orders, you'll probably get good orders at some point. And if you're on Doordash, you know that you're not going to have access to one of these better programs, or better quote unquote, being the high pay order program or Top Dasher, and they've been really pushing for it in some markets. Some markets you can't actually go online without those programs. So keep that in mind too.
This is how Uber Eats and DoorDash actually takes advantage of their drivers.
I'm going to leave his TikTok as well as his profile in the description so you can develop your own opinions on the subject. They have a lot of ways to take advantage of their drivers, but that is one of them. He says, it's common knowledge that in the food delivery world that no tip equals no trip. Meaning if a customer doesn't add a tip to their order, then drivers aren't going to choose it and it'll stay sitting in the app longer. Because one of two things is going to happen. Either they're going to boost the value of the order or it's going to get canceled. But since the delivery apps don't want those customers to go unserved, they'll pair non-tip orders with tip orders from the same restaurant. And that just goes to show that the interests of the companies that we work with and the interests of the drivers are two different worlds. So you gotta look out for yourself at the end of the day. Never learn from a gig company on how to drive for the gig company. Learn from a gig worker who's also doing the same thing as you. And whether it's me or another gig tuber.
That's the only way that they're actually going to get their food.
Yeah, pretty much. Justin argues this takes away drivers' autonomy and ability to take a stand against non-tippers. And that's why multi-apping is so important, because on Doordash, on Uber Eats, if you allow them to dictate your actions, then you're just an employee on a contract. And that's not good for you, that's not good for anybody. He adds that there have been viral videos showing a whole bunch of orders at fast food establishments, including Chipotle, McDonald's, and Burger King, that sit in the pickup queue for hours. Those videos are so funny too, because all of the non-tip customers come out to play at that point, trying to get us to take no-tip orders. And honestly, those people shouldn't get their food anyway.
All the drivers understand that if you're not going to value us as us bringing you your food, why the hell would we want to pick up your food anyways?
Exactly. If you're not going to value us, why should we value you? I love how the gig economy is literally people taking into their own hands who they want to work with. If you're an employee, you take whoever you can because that's what the business owner wants. But if you're a gig worker, it's somebody else's name and you're under contract with that company to do some work, that's not on you, that's on the company. Justin says that people who aren't able to tip should just walk to the restaurant since it's easier and the food is hot when you get it. Bold of you to assume that it's a good idea to have them start tipping to begin with. Here's the thing, and this is my opinion, obviously it's controversial. I don't think you should ever start trying to get non-tippers to start tipping. Because here's the reality. Those people are the ones who cause contract violations. They're the ones that give people bad ratings. They're the ones who treat people poorly. They're the ones who are abusive by nature. And at the end of the day, what you want to do is actually dip on them. You don't want to work with people like that. I don't want to work with people like that. Let them expose themselves by not tipping. Keep not tipping. Let me keep my account safe by ignoring your orders, and I will make sure I work with quality customers who do the right thing by me.
Only reason why you have to tip your delivery driver is because we are bringing you your food. It's not the other way around. You are not giving us a job. Believe me, we don't want you on the platform.
Amen. If you don't like the way it works, get the hell out. He adds that all drivers expect are $2 to $4. They aren't asking for a $20 tip on a 1 mile order. Okay, here's where I'm gonna have to push back on that a little bit. This is what I believe for myself. This is not what everybody should do. This is not me giving advice on how you should tip people or how you should claim your orders, because at the end of the day, that's gonna be on you and what your market demands. But my values and what I believe and what kind of customers I want to work with, it's $5 or 20%, whichever is higher. If it's like $2 to $4, it's not gonna be enough to make an order worth picking up, in my opinion. Because $2.50 plus 2 is gonna be $4.50. I'm not gonna take a $4.50 order. $2.50 plus 4 is gonna be $6.50, and I don't really want $6.50 orders mixing in with the other $6.50 orders, making me guess on whether or not it's gonna actually be worth taking, you know?
But all you non-tippers are so entitled and nobody's picking up your food.
Facts. The video has 11,000 views and nearly 250 comments. Justin mainly makes videos related to his gig work and has recently posted multiple videos about tipping food delivery drivers. The things you do for content, huh? But you know what I noticed? Out of all of those views, 11,000 views. Right? It's not a super viral video, but it has 250 comments. That's a lot of engagement. People are really passionate about tipping and not tipping. And I think that's very interesting. Commenters were largely in agreement with him. I don't understand why you wouldn't tip someone bringing your food, the most liked comment read. Neither do I, my friend. But you can't try to dissect the psychology of a non-tipper, because at the end of the day, it's either a cultural thing because they're not from this country and they don't know better, or they're just manipulating you at the end of the day, which is not really worth it. Yes, I understand. Absolutely. I tip generously because I'm thankful for your service, a person wrote. You see, that's the kind of customer we want. It's not just somebody who tips well. Like, tipping well is one thing, but someone who is appreciative of the work we do. That's somebody I want to work with, because that customer is worth it 100% of the time. The apps should make a minimum $2 tip, another said. I don't think mandatory tip is going to be a good idea, because at the end of the day, it's only going to cause problems for the driver itself. This is my opinion. It's worth what you pay for it. None of you pay me. There you go. I understand why people want to make these PSA videos and talk about why you should start tipping your driver. 100%, I agree with that point. But at the end of the day, you don't want people who don't tip to start tipping, because it's only gonna bring harm to those around us. Wrongful deactivations, contract violations, bad ratings, complaints to the company, micromanagement. Like, how many different ways do you need for them to screw you over because you took a no-tip order, a low-tip order, or an order that is barely good enough to take only if the order is ready upon arrival? I don't take borderline orders, and I don't take orders that do that. Like, why would you do that to yourself? So make sure you're only working with quality customers, and for the no-tip customers who choose not to do right by the driver, just ignore them. They're not worth it, they never have been worth it, and they never will be worth it. And that's one of the best parts about being an independent contractor. You could just decline them, and that's the end of it. In terms of how much you could tip, I think that is based on how much you value the service, because we're not just looking for money, although I do think a lot of us are in this for the money, but we're looking to maintain our account safety, and we're looking to work with quality people. So if you value our services, tip well. If you don't value our services, either lowball or no tip, because at the end of the day, we wouldn't want to work with you anyway. And to us Doordash drivers, UberEats drivers, and Grubhub drivers out there, no tip, no trip. It's really that simple. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!